Hey guys, welcome to another episode of No Tea, Just Coffee. My name is Tam.
And I'm Jordan.
And as you see, we have some special guests with us today. This is our first panel discussion. We have, no pressure guys, we have CJ and we have Greg over here. And our topic for today, it is intimacy. And what does that mean? Okay, from male, female perspective.
Yes.
So this is going to be a great conversation because I feel like a lot of times, you know, we are talking about different subjects or topics that like involve like the male perspective.
Yep. And
it's only us right here.
Yes.
But not today. Not today. We have some guests here. We got some guests here to, you know, give us their input and what they think and all that jazz. So that's really it. We probably actually won't get to our shoot the shit just because it is our first panel discussion. We probably gonna be just talking.
Yep.
And just talking, right? So
chit-chatting away.
Chatting away, right.
Yeah.
So no shoot the shit today. It's just gonna be the meat and potatoes on intimacy and you know what that means. So with that said, let's get into this discussion.
Let's get into it.
All right. So intimacy. I actually, right off the bat,
no game. I see.
Let's get into it. Okay.
I actually have a question for you too, and I'm gonna give my reason why. Okay. Because Jordan and I had talked about
the why,
the word before.
Yes.
And so my question to you, fellas, CJ, Greg, what do you define? What does that mean? What does the word intimacy mean to you?
Ooh. First thing that comes to mind when somebody says intimacy. Ready, set, go.
So in my perspective, may be a little different, but intimacy to me, I'm instantly worrying about what that person's love language is, because that's the form of intimacy that's going to allow them to feel fulfilled in terms of what they need in terms of love. So that's my first thought is, what is the love language?
Okay. Never thought it that way.
Me neither. That was pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, right off the bat, that was
okay.
No
Come
pressure.
on.
You shouldn't have went.
My bad.
No pressure, CJ.
Love language. Okay, I thought it was gonna be.
No.
I thought about that.
No.
I said mine's a little bit different. Sorry, a little bit different.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think intimacy is about, you know, connecting with your significant other, right? And what I've learned, 8 years married now, is that it changes, right? It can change, let me say that. And so you learn to adapt. But when you have that person, and we're talking about, you have that unconditional love and things like that, you allow yourself to change and learn love languages and things like that. But you shift your intimacy and what that needs to be. But it's all different forms of it. And that's what I've been able to kind of learn, is that it's not just one specific thing. So
I'm proud. No,
Look at this here.
Wonderful.
That's actually that's pretty good. When we first came up with this subject, we were like, I don't think I've ever, and I want to know if you two have ever even used the word like
intimate
or intimacy, just like ever
in your everyday language or everyday thoughts.
Like, I'm about to have an intimate
conversation or whatever.
I don't think I've ever heard my boyfriend or anybody I've ever been with just even use that word.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever?
So yeah, and again, hey, the different person here. I'm a photographer and videographer, so it's kind of part of my language with poses, doing weddings. My wife is a makeup artist, and there are several different times where we collab. She does the makeup, I do the photos, and so even with what I do with my wife, it's something that is used a lot because, again, from a posing standpoint, it's a type of pose that it shows a sense of endearment. It lets people know exactly what I mean when I say, hey, we need this to be a little bit more intimate. Now, what that may mean to people is very much different, but it's something that I use on the normal because of the mood it can put somebody in.
But what about like in relation to your significant other?
Yeah.
Not really. Only because I wouldn't say, I don't use that word per se, but we probably use synonyms that describe it. We just use it in a more playful term.
Yeah.
Come and love on me or something like that. Yeah. But the actual, let's be intimate, nah.
Yeah.
I have to agree. I think it's not one of those words you use we use casually, you know, my wife and I, or even other friends that I know that have partners or whatever the case may be. I think it's one of those things where you understand what it is, but there's other forms of terms and stuff you use to help describe those things if necessary. But I also think it kind of is one of those things where not a lot of people know it to be what it is. So I think you hear intimate, it's a personal, real, specific thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize how broad it can be, or it can
That's true.
be specific to whatever you want it to be. So
Yeah. That's a good point.
It can be broad because, like, I like restaurants that have intimate settings.
Yeah. Yep.
And for me, when I think about intimacy, it's like I'm able to be my full self in the space that we're in.
Yep.
So that's why I can like let my hair down. I can be very comfortable. So I like restaurants or wherever that the lighting is kind of more like that mood lighting. There might be a little booth, but it's off to the side. So it allows you to be intimate and evoke intimacy with whoever you're with. So I think it's a feeling for me. When I'm intimate with somebody, I can be like my full self and I kind of feel real comfortable.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
So I know right now we're speaking more in just, well, at least from what I'm hearing, more of like settings and stuff like that, right? I'm going to take it there.
Yeah.
Here it comes. You can tell the buildup was there.
I'm going to take it there.
That's the truth.
You know?
Right. And I thought we got to hit off top with something. Here we go.
I got you.
You know, we just going to dive right on in. But intimacy, like when it comes to sex, right?
Right.
And I say that because I'm just thinking about when I was younger back in the day. And
younger back in the day.
In the 1900s.
I was thinking like, and how old are we? Wait a minute.
Late 1900s.
Right, late 1900s.
Back in the day.
I am not with them. I'm not that old. Sorry.
Okay.
Minority here.
But no, I'm thinking about like when I was like younger 20s, I don't even think that term was even really a part of my vocabulary. And like,
no.
I guess what my expectations were when it came to intimacy, I don't even know if,
right.
I don't know if I had any expectations.
You just like here just.
No, I'm being real.
Yeah.
I really,
Be real.
I cannot think of, not until I got with my boyfriend, right? But obviously, I mean, I've been in, other relationships or whatever, but like,
that's the truth.
I guess it's not until you're in more of a serious relationship that you really start to think about, like, when it comes to sex, like, what more can it be than just like,
The act of
let's get it on, You know
Let's do it. Like, no, like now it requires more.
Right. So for you, Jordan, let's see.
Oh.
I guess I'm the question person.
She's
today.
the Oprah, y'all.
Yes,
I'm always calling her Oprah.
You get a question. Everybody's getting a question.
Yeah.
Well, no, I am curious to know, like, okay, expectations, like, before and like now.
Shit. Expectations before.
None. Got it.
Okay. So, but to be honest, like, not really, just because I think I've only had like 2 really, really serious relationships. One is my husband. But before that, I really wasn't, I guess I was kind of more in a selfish phase. I think I was more worried about just me having a good time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
We can read between the lines.
Anywho, but now because I'm older, intimacy is a give and take from both parties, and it for me has to do a lot with the energy. Again, that allows me to like, fully feel comfortable, because I think that for me, when I'm fully open or can let my hair down, sex or intimacy or whatever you want to call it is greater, is better.
Right.
It's more exploratory. Like, you're able to do things that you want to do. When I was younger, I wasn't really thinking about that because I didn't really know.
No, I wasn't either.
You know what I mean? Like, the quality, I really didn't have like high expectations. I was just,
I mean, I still had
dating
high
and going.
expectations, but
Let's not go there.
Don't waste my time now.
no, but like same thing. I didn't really have like compared to now, like as I'm older, like there are certain things that I guess when it comes to sex and intimacy, like I would like to have, and some of that can be like just like
Motion in the hand.
Spirit fingers. What was that?
Or what are you doing?
Ambiance.
Thank you. That's why she my girl.
Girl math.
Did not
Girl math.
Hold on. Did we just talk about Oblivion?
Okay.
That was like,
Yes.
I was like,
The ambiance, or actually, we were just talking about this. I think it might have been our last one of the episodes. We've done so many. One of the episodes, I was mentioning like, even like after a long day, right? Like, if my boyfriend has a shower ready for me, I might be tired as hell, but that for me is a form of like intimacy.
100%.
And like, instead of just like. Just going straight into it.
Into Greg's point of love language, like that acts of service or whatever. He knows how to speak to your body in a way, or to your soul, your mind, whatever, using your love language, which may be quality time, acts of service, or whatever that may be. So I think that quality time is my love language. And so Alfred knows that. So when he spends or gives me his undivided, that is a form of intimacy because it's he and I, And
I think that's some of the things that you start to learn. Again, there's where it broadens out, where again, if a lot of people hear intimacy, right, they're like, oh, we're talking about having sex. Right?
Yeah,
we're talking about
definitely.
being, right. And so I think when you become a partner, when you have a partner, and you get to know someone, whether it's married, boy, whatever, significant other.
Yeah.
Then you start looking at it beyond just the physical act of that. And so what other things are you exploring and seeing to expand on what it is you want about that person?
Yeah.
Right? So it's not about, I want to know more about them and their education and their family. It's also the intimacy part. And I think that's when people start to say, oh, wait, so holding hands can be intimate? Okay.
Right.
That's true.
Just, shower, all these things, undivided attention, which I like that, by the way. Those are forms of intimacy, and you don't think about that until you're kind of in that position with someone.
Yeah,
and you're essentially excited to want to know. That's one of the things you start to realize. Okay, here's where we connect on.
Right, but then it's also like I'm thinking to myself, like, where was this? Where did I learn about this?
I was just thinking that.
I was gonna come back to the point to where it's like, well, when you were younger, you didn't really care because we were immature.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that, like we were just immature. It wasn't until you actually were with someone and they probably made you feel a certain way and you fought through that to then be like, you know what, I actually may want to stay with this person, But even from there, it goes deeper because to George's point, well, her love language is quality time. Well, so is my wife's, but the quality time is different.
Yeah.
You want Alfred's undivided attention.
Yeah.
Well, my wife, she just wants me in the vicinity while she's cleaning up her closet. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be paying attention at all, but it goes to everybody's situation.
That's
while the quality time is quality time, you need to dig deeper and to explore exactly what is that quality time.
Yeah.
So it comes down to, me personally, I think it's just people being mature and having the mutual respect with your partner and you guys being able to talk to and really figure out what that mutual respect is so that y'all know not to cross that line, but so that you can continue to build on what that is to make things better for both of y'all. And to your point, over time, that's going to change.
Right.
You're 8 years, I'm in July, be 10 years married, and my wife has heard, while the love languages may not have changed, they may have tweaked a little bit.
Yeah.
So again, it may have started off as needing my undivided attention to where it's now it's like, I just need you around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's things to where as your spouse, significant other evolves, you should be evolving too.
Absolutely.
And understanding that, hey, I need to be changing while she's changing, and my love language may change as well too.
Yeah.
And speaking of the change, because I was going to ask this, because things do change, right?
Absolutely.
As you're going through. But how difficult is because sometimes it could feel like dang, you switching up on me. And it's like when
especially if you've been together for a long time.
Like at first, this is what you wanted, now this is what you wanted. But to go back to your point, the longer that you're with someone, like you would hope that you both grow
Absolutely.
together, right? But like
Yeah.
also working together in whatever those changes
Right.
are, you know?
I definitely think that because, and I think Tam and I had talked about that, like I have been with Alfred all through my 20s and now almost all through my 30s. And so when we first met, my maturity wasn't there and my love language was very different. Like physical touch wasn't something that was important to me. And I think it was just because I was very independent, going, didn't really care about being in a very serious relationship. And then as I've gotten older and more settled, that has changed, physical touch. But the thing about it is Alfred had to readjust because he'd be like, well, what? Wait a minute. I'm like, I want to hold hands now.
Was that a conversation though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because literally I was like, I understand you having a difficult time because when we met, I'm like, I don't need you to touch me all the, you know what I mean? His is physical touch. Now, the older I get, for whatever reason, physical touch is now one of my love languages, but I had to kind of like explain that to him because if a person has been that way for 10 years and all of a sudden they cuddle up on you, you're like, what? Are you okay? Like everything else.
And so that's what's important about the mutual respect thing because as you've changed, while he needs to give you grace for the change, you also have to reciprocate and allow him to get used to having to adjust. And sometimes that isn't overnight. It's one of those where you may take a step forward just for 3 days later, maybe take 2 steps backward. But the important part is to acknowledge that, to be accountable and still be able to move forward. And a lot of people, in my opinion, skip the accountability piece.
I think that's a huge part. And I think ultimately, to answer the question initially, Tam, is it's not easy. And I think a lot of people
that's
will say the right things and
absolutely
see these things. At the end of the day, I mean, if you're going to be with someone for a long time, the dynamics of the relationship is going to change.
Yeah.
Because to your point, you're going to be different who you are in your 20s and your 30s and 40s and so on and so forth. And you should be.
Absolutely.
You go through stages and changes. You're adding dynamics to the family.
Kids.
Things happen,
Exactly. Buying a house.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
bills.
Number one, kids.
And bills. So understand that these things change. And as they change, you change. And so it's not easy. And I would say it because I think that's the downfall of a lot of relationships, and you see people getting divorced or separated because
they're not ready to go through the trenches. You have to go through,
you didn't get the accountability and mutual respect. And so when people see, wait, why are you changing on me? They think it's something that they did, and there's not a conversation.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Instead of communicating, which is the
communication,
they don't, right? And then you kind of further see people separate and then grow.
And they have no idea why.
That's so unfortunate.
Like, tell me why you separated from your husband.
Right.
Well, I'm like, that's so light. It's so light. I need to know why. Like, what's the real, like, nitty gritty reason? Because sometimes it'd be real fluffy. And I'm like,
irreconcilable differences? Is that the term that's used?
That's what my lawyer told me.
That's
which
the
I
term
don't know. Like, and 9 times out of 10, you do have to. The one thing about going through the trenches, and sometimes you be on your hands and knees, Jesus.
Absolutely.
But the good thing is, once y'all both come out of it, there's nothing that you can't conquer together, and it actually makes your relationship so much stronger. Like, I know me and Alfred at this point can go pretty much through anything, and we riding and rocking. We may not have all the answers, but I know we gonna hit it together and create, just it's that life partner.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if people really, to CJ's point, it's like life partner, nothing about that says bubbles, butterflies, and sunshine all the time.
Right.
It's gonna be clouds and storms mixed in, and that is what life is all about. So I don't know, if everybody's ready for that journey. That may look rocky.
Great point, because I think, again, and I'm so happy to hear that you guys are long-standing in your relationships and stuff, because I think a lot of people don't. Like, you jump into it, and this is me on my soapbox because I used to study this a lot. Is that people don't get married for the right reasons, and I think a lot of times
that's it.
They start to see those things change, and then if you don't do it for the right reasons, it doesn't take much for it to break.
For it to end.
When you have a situation like forms of intimacy, which is like, it used to be the second. It used to be finances, and intimacy used to be like the two things that people used to get divorced for, right? Or the lack thereof. And so then, if you don't have that foundation, your life partner, then you're not going to know that, and so you don't have the desire, you don't have those foundations, and so it's easy for you to see something change in your partner.
Yeah.
when you give up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas to your point, if I see a cloudy day with my wife, it's a cloudy day. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen. We're gonna deal with it, and then the sun's gonna happen. The sun
Yes.
shines. But most people don't have those foundations and things to
Yeah.
That's very true.
follow on. So
That's true.
it's easy for them to kind of give up.
Yeah.
So going to your point of normally it's like finance, intimacy. So has there like how do you? Because now I'm not married. I think I've expressed I'm not married, but I've been with my boyfriend. I've been with my boyfriend.
Is it common law marriage at this point?
Hey, I hope you watching, bro.
No.
I hope you watching.
We've been together for a long time, right? But
Shout outs.
yeah, we've been together for a minute. But I was just thinking, like, the longer that you are with someone, sometimes that form of intimacy, it can like go up and down,
100%.
up and down,
Definitely.
And
Don't have kids.
okay, right. So
Hello.
now,
Because Greg was like, kids. Stress.
so really, this is a question for y'all because I don't have kids to throw in the
Smart
mix,
woman.
okay?
Smart woman.
But like, but with
She's a
those
great
being
auntie, yeah.
factors, like, how do you guys like keep the like? I'm sure I know it's been up and downs within your guys'
Peaks and
relationship.
valleys.
Yeah. How do you guys keep the intimacy going?
Look, Greg.
Date nights,
Right.
date ends.
There we
You
go.
got to be creative. I mean, you got to
Date.
understand who
Yeah.
you and your partner is,
Yep.
and you guys got to be creative. I mean, sometimes that's
Definitely.
just watching TV, watching your favorite show
Yes.
together.
That's it.
Sometimes that is sitting in the room all night in the bed, no TV on. Me and my wife do that all the time, y'all. All the time. You look up, look now, I'm on my phone, she on her phone, but you look up, we've been on our phone for 2 hours. Or sometimes it's she takes control of the TV and we watch all her TikToks together. You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure out what works for you.
Yeah. I think one thing that Alfred and I, because our schedules are so different, there's not going to be a perfect scenario. So don't focus on trying to create a perfect scenario. Yeah, we would like to be on the same schedules, but life just hasn't lifed that way. So we do day dates. So, and I look forward to that. We drop Elliot off at school and then we go get breakfast and have that form of intimacy because
Yep.
we're like at breakfast or brunch or whatever. And we just talking about all the different things. I will also like say, you got to share. Another form of intimacy for me is sharing my dreams and my aspirations with my husband. And he does the same with me because
Yeah.
your brain is still working as an individual. You didn't stop dreaming and hoping just because you with somebody. Like, share that with them. And that's really the telltale is like, if they're encouraging and if they like, let's do it. Like, that will tell you all you need to know if that's actually your life partner. Because
That's
if they
real.
like, what you mean this? How you gonna do that?
Yeah.
If they negative out the gate, you like, oh shoot, I don't know what we're gonna do because this is really what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I was just share your heart, your dreams with that person. That'll tell you everything you need to know. How long they gonna be around? Are they here for the long haul or not?
And
So-
to piggyback off that real quick, that goes back into the accountability piece. Because if you are sharing those dreams and those goals with your partner, it's easier to reflect back on that and ask, well, hey, you did say you wanted to do this. What happened?
Yeah.
What is the reason
Yeah.
that this didn't
That's
happen? So
good.
it allows you to continue to grow within yourself personally and within your marriage relationship, because there's that accountability piece where you can ask and have that communication where it's like, hey, you said you wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And while that may benefit you, it could also help us. You know, what happened with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, you didn't do this and this kind of hurt,
Yeah.
so it's key that you guys are having those conversations, but it's also key that is a point to where you can continue to ensure that both of you guys are growing and evolving.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I think
Yeah.
obviously communication, right? And so my wife and I were like, yeah, we have goals, right? And it's as simple as we want to lose weight, right? Or stuff like that. To your point, here's now how we can be accountable.
Yeah. Yep.
And I like how you was talking about just sharing those things,
Yep.
goals, aspirations, or even just what your day was, right?
Yeah.
That's what my wife
Absolutely,
likes to do. She
yeah.
likes to- I don't want to say the word dump, but like she likes to be able to talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just reflect on where her day was, and sometimes she's got some customers or some people that she didn't
Yeah.
find, like that day, and I have to hear about it, and I'm okay with hearing about that. And that's cool because I know ultimately that's what she needs.
Yes.
Sometimes it's circumstances.
I love that.
Where
That is true.
she feels better, and obviously that's what I want. I want her to feel better about
Yeah.
situations. And Tam even knows it's like our kids go down at 8 usually,
Yeah.
and then from 8 to sometimes midnight. My wife and I, it's us.
Yeah.
We're watching
That's
our
good.
shows. No
That is
Coco
true.
Melon, Blippi, or nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we're watching adult stuff
That's
that we
right.
can kind of relate to. We got shows we
Yes.
we set aside and said we want to do these things. Right. We got shows we like to watch.
Yep.
Right now it's the Christmas thing because my wife's all into the Hallmark.
Yes.
So we're watching those.
Oh, yeah. Hallmark. Forgot about that.
We're
Yep.
doing smoking hookah, whatever.
Yep.
But like
Yes.
every evening,
Yep.
we spend those time together, and yeah, it's probably best we should probably be in the bed like at a decent hour, but
Right.
it's worth the sacrifice.
Absolutely.
For us to have
And that works for y'all. That works for y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to your
That's
point,
right.
after whether it's silence or whatever the case may be, like, but having that moment, and we do a lot of day dates, or we try to do a lot of day dates as well, because again, kids, having those things where we said, and I told her, I was like, look, we're gonna have these kids, and she wants, I say, we can do this, but we won't forget who we were. Like, I'm not gonna say, yes, let's do this with my son or my daughters. Like, it's gonna be us. We figure out how we gonna get the kids out, because I want her to understand that this is still me and you at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
You lose track of that, I think that's when you start to see division.
That's good.
Like that.
Yeah.
So,
You know what? That's actually a good point. So as I've mentioned before, my boyfriend, he lives out of state. But one thing that from the moment that I've met him, even till now, that has always just been like a huge thing for me is that he's always been my cheerleader, right? And vice versa, right?
Yeah.
I mean, literally and figuratively, like, you know, I was on dance team. He played sports, you know. Right, but he's always been, when I say one of my biggest support, even till this day, like, he can be somewhere, and if he sees anything dance related, like just the other day, he was at a game and he sent me a video of the dance team. Like, he, like, you know, like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And also he allows me to essentially dump, you know, all good, bad, and he just be listening, and you know, sometimes he listens, but actually most no. I was gonna say sometimes he listens and sometimes he gives me like advice.
Yeah.
Most of the time that's what he does, and I absolutely love that about him, because it's telling me that he's really like
He's
tuned
actively,
in. He's listening to what I'm saying.
That's right.
And he can also understand like when I just need to like dump and I just need you to listen,
and I don't really need advice,
and I really don't need advice, right?
And honestly, that's something that you and your partner should communicate with.
Yeah.
Because some people don't know if you need support or if you need advice.
Yeah, that's
and sometimes you just need to vent. I don't need you to tell me what I should have done, how I could have done. I just need you to hear me out. Now that you've heard me out, now let me ask you, what would you have done? You know, how would you have done it differently? And then offer it there. But again, that's communication. That's something that you have to learn.
And don't feel bad to ask. I mean, don't feel bad saying it literally like that. Hey, look, at this point, I just need to say this and vent. Don't need anything, you know, no feedback, no advice. I just need to dump it. And say it like that so people understand to your point, because if you don't want it and people give it, like, it's not their fault.
Right.
And stuff like that. And I think that's another thing, is just set them expectations and
Absolutely.
stuff. So.
Yeah. And I mean, like, relating it to just like the fact that for me, that's what really I don't want to say keep me attracted to him, but like that, like stuff like that is very attractive to me. Like we can have, sometimes I'll be like, so can we have a truth moment? Like that's like can we just sit and just be honest real quick, you know? And like we can have those conversations, and like, because I mean, you know, we did recently go through like a rough patch, you know? But the fact that we're able to talk about things and actually sit and listen to one another and like understand each other, like for me, that keeps me, that makes me even more attracted to him.
Definitely.
So like next time I see him,
It's going down.
Hope you listening, bro.
It's going. I was like, we need to have one of these buttons over here.
I know what y'all do.
Yeah, exactly.
One of these. I will say, to CJ's point, and then also Tam's point, you can like lose yourself, especially from a female's perspective, and having you know, kids. I only have one because God knew my heart. He said, well, that's enough for her. But you do lose yourself, and giving, and Greg was talking about grace. You have to give yourself grace because it's new territory. I do not care if anybody, I don't care what age, you don't know how to raise a child until you have a child. So when the baby comes, it's new territory, and you're trying to figure out, how do I be myself, my husband, individuals together, parents, whatever the roles that we're playing, we're maneuvering that. And so you got to give yourself grace, but you do have to find yourselves back to date nights or dates or whatever, so you can reconnect. Because as a householder, just make everything so much easier to navigate when y'all on the same page and y'all, still connected. It just makes the household so much better.
I actually have a question for the guys, again, specifically, because I was just thinking about, kids. Everyone has kids. And I also, I don't know, but from experience, but I know that's a huge, that's a body change for a female, like physically and mentally. And I am sure there are moments where they don't feel the prettiest or sexiest or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
So guys, no, seriously, how did you guys help your partners kind of stay in, I guess, a positive mindset of just everything really fit, physically, and
sometimes you may not even know because it's new territory for you guys. You becoming a dad, one.
First time,
So there was a point in time in my marriage where my wife told me she was going through that, and despite what I would say, it didn't matter because it was internal. It was something that she was going through personally. And while I got that, I didn't give up. It was still I'm still walking up on her, grabbing her a certain way where I was at the beginning, to where she still knew and understood. I'm still attracted to you in the way I was even before. Because now, and what I think a lot of women don't understand, especially from a male standpoint, you've given me life in a different way. I love you in a way that you will never be able to explain, because again, you did have my son. You provided something to me that I can't get from anyone else. So the love that I have for you you won't be able to measure that. And so it's hard for a woman to internalize that, but it's also hard for a male to communicate that, express that in a way to where the woman can internalize it, because again, what they're going through, we will never know that. The only thing we can do is try to be as supportive as possible.
No, and same thing. Again, my wife, we had 3 beautiful children, and each time she became more beautiful, and just more everything that you couldn't really just say at that moment. We see it now.
That's wonderful.
Because it's a beautiful thing. It's a miracle, nonetheless. And we were fortunate enough; there was no complications with either one. So you see this, and you're going through, but the whole pregnancy, to see the growth. It's a miracle. So it's a beauty unforeseen by me up to that point, us up to that point. So I made sure that she understood that, and again, having now a 14-month-old, we're in that situation where, okay, let's get back to losing a little weight, making sure we're doing some stuff like that. And not that she has to. I tell her she doesn't necessarily have to, but we want to be fit. And I gained a little weight too, just because that's what happens when you
absolutely
I put it on. So we were here we go. Let's pick some goals and stuff like that. But it's a different beauty. It's beyond measure in the sense that you conceived my child, and you have all these things. I look at my children, I see her. She's exact. My daughters are exact replica of life. And so you can't help but be in awe of what this miracle happened. And to your point, I made sure we just try to be as intimate as possible in all forms. During the pregnancy as well. You don't just say, okay, well,
just
9 months, that's a wrap.
Right.
So I made sure that she still felt the love languages that she needed. And it's not easy, especially with the third one, because you have other kids. But we made sure, at least I try to make sure that at the end of the day, she understands that I'm not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere. But there's a different level of respect and love that I have for her.
That's good.
Absolutely. That was
really good.
It's a good show. Look at that.
They thought they was gonna walk over
That
us
was-
today.
no.
I've heard the past episodes. y'all.
Let me tell you
They
something.
be dogging us out.
No.
Let me tell you something.
We back. We back.
I love these type of conversations,
Me too.
especially when it's like a mixed group.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I mean, like Greg said, so Greg is our behind the voice man producer, right? So he does hear all of
I've
our,
heard them all. I know it all, yo.
you know, like so he has heard everything, and it's always from like our perspective. And so I love,
Me too.
I absolutely love this.
Yes.
This conversation.
Yeah.
So no, we didn't think it was gonna walk over you guys. Come on. Maybe like the last conversation we had, maybe, but
CJ, trust me.
The plan was.
Yeah.
no. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to go with that?
I don't. I think intimacy, and I think we've all said it can be in different forms depending on what stage you're in, and as you mature, it could change. Or I think you just need to be not only self-aware, but also aware of your partner's, their love language or their requirements or their adjustments in life. I mean, I don't know. You just have to provide that intimate space for them to speak their mind, clear their mind, whatever it is that they need, whatever their definition of intimacy is.
Yep.
Help them, have that, or, show them they can have that. Because it could be, for times, an intimate conversation or intimate space or whatever. So you just got to find out what that is for both of you. And
So I got a question. I don't know how much time we have left, but
No, go ahead.
you got plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
We shut it down quick. Yeah.
nah. So my wife and I, we pretend to be relationship counselors, right? So I have a couple of friends that are not married, going through some stuff, right? Two of them single, one of them trying to work through some things. So we're hoping that happens. But I have to the single people out here, right, who are navigating dating, and it's maybe more so dating over intimacy. But how do you now in
In
looking
this,
at this day and age, social media, all these
That's a
Tinder
good
and all this other
question.
stuff, how can you do that and then try to your
Yeah.
point, find yourself and what that intimacy needs to be? Whether it's just physical, or
Yeah.
how do you explore and do that in this day and age with
Ooh, people
I
don't
don't
even
know.
want to talk.
I'm just about to say that.
physical? Right? It's like
They like on my way,
Or,
or
everything's swipe. You got have the dating apps.
what
or-
you doing?
I don't know. That's a tough one because nowadays, no, people don't know how to just talk to one another.
No.
They don't know how to be in each other's spaces anymore. And I say this all the time. I am happy and blessed that I am taken, because if I was single out
Facts.
here in these streets today,
I would be single.
I would
out
be
here in
single
these
for the
streets.
rest of my life. Because I'm so serious. Like it's just, I
It's
don't,
bad.
It's so bad. I don't
you
even
can't give
know.
up on people now.
Well-
There's people out here who
Yeah.
seriously looking for
Yeah.
advice. I should say advice, just a path or a direction of how to navigate through the bullshit of
Yeah.
whatever. I don't. What is it?
I think
don't
that
know the different
sense of
apps now,
like
but, like-
self-awareness.
Yeah, make sure you aren't the problem first and foremost.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, I'm with you. Like,
Because
No, you're right.
you
It could
got to
be
know
you,
what you
right?
working
Yeah.
with.
Right, that's true. That's true.
And also, if you feel like, okay, you are, of quality to yourself, then don't deal with no BS.
But it's still a question of where do you find them?
I don't know.
where you looking?
Where they at? I don't know.
Pacer games.
So
Where
many,
they at?
I
so
don't
many
know.
questions.
That's it. Though. I mean, obviously, the society is pushing us to do all these things like online and all
Yes.
that stuff. But I mean, there's still bars. I mean, people say churches. There's still outings or connecting events where people will go and interact. I guess that's the word I'm looking for.
Yep.
There's interaction being had, right? There's, like I said, a Pacer game or whatever. So I mean, there's these things, but people just, for whatever reason, it's just pushed to do
Yeah.
these online stuff or pushed
Yeah.
to be non-interactive, right?
Yes. Yep.
So
So
get around that, or even if you are, say for whatever reason, I'm going to be online. How do you try
Yeah.
to convey intimacy?
I know.
Or can it be conveyed?
I feel like you
I don't
have
even-
to at some point get on the phone and
Yeah,
talk.
absolutely. And I guess it's
But
about
does that
person
even-
standards though. Like whatever your standards are,
Yeah.
right? Like for me, okay, so if we're going that route, let's say, okay, I'm single, boom, I'm on dating app and he's like, yeah, you want to come over? No, I do not. You know, like there has to be certain standards that you have, like to really start to build that connection
Yeah.
first.
You
right?
almost have to like push it, like
Yeah, you
require
gotta
it.
take it back old
Even-
school. Let's go out to dinner, you know, or something.
Yeah,
Well,
meet
I'm
for a
saying-
drink.
Yeah.
If you're reaching out to somebody online, I hope you at least know them a little bit about them per se. Because how you know you're not
No,
getting
You don't know
scammed?
anything.
You don't know
about
now.
online dating.
Man, that's why it's scary.
There's
That's no, it's
10
scary.
years, so I ain't had to deal with none of
You
this.
don't know
y'all.
anything.
Dynamic of it, though.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you don't
Get
know
catfished
them.
No.
and stuff, right?
See?
So
That's
A
why I
lot.
can't. Yeah.
more than
Oh, I know.
I didn't
What?
even think it was that. Yeah,
that common?
It's
Yeah.
bad because now, and this is from a female's perspective. Like if I see another filter that changes your nose, your lips, your eyes, now and then you accidentally move away from the filter. And now I see
Your
what you
face all
really look
dis-
like.
yeah.
Why would you?
Guys
And that's
are
what
doing this,
people
huh?
are
Yeah.
doing.
Or you said talk on the phone, I can spoof my voice. Now I can be Drake. You talking to Drake? You talking to Drizzy?
Oh.
Yo, what up? What up? What up?
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
People have been getting scammed
This
by
is
fake
true.
celebrities
I know.
by donating their money.
Oh,
It's like,
my God.
I never had. So
but again, I think it goes back to you
That's-
have to have a certain standard, and it's like we gotta bring it back to like the old days and
Yeah.
what we used to do, right? Like in the 1900s, you
Back
know,
in our day,
we used to go on a dinner.
Not me.
Oh, right, sorry.
One of the fortunate ones that made it out.
Yeah, like let's go to dinner. Let's actually have a conversation. Like let's
Yeah.
hit these certain marks before even the second date. Like, and then after the second date, all right, let's see what happens.
Let me
know
tell
what I
you
mean?
though,
Like, you
I've
kinda
been
have to
hearing-
rebuild that though.
I was on something and the guy was like, "Why should I
Why should
spend money on a female like the first date? Like it may just be drinks or it just may be coffee." He was like, "I don't want to take a female to dinner and spend all this money to not know if I'm really going to move forward."
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not 100% against that, but what I prefer, like, if a guy asks me out, then yeah, I'm gonna expect you to pay. But I'm actually,
Yeah.
I understand that concept too. Like, if we just now trying to get to know each other, like,
See,
I don't
but
care,
that's
I'll pay for it. Yeah, it's
That's a
mutual
new
thing.
wave for me.
It is a new.
Because not that I'm like I'm never thinking he better pay. I'm not even thinking that, but I'm so used to like that old school mentality, like
absolutely.
first date dinner he pay. Now
But
it's like
I guess
Again, going back to standards, which is
yeah,
to that point, with that mindset, the first date y'all had built something up though. Like it was a foundation of y'all talking, or was the first
not
date
necessarily because
Not necessarily.
You know, if you meet
Couple
somebody
swipes.
at a bar, what is that?
Couple swipes.
That
No,
was
that's
the extent
true.
of the swipe, and then okay.
Yeah.
You
Or
know,
you're right. No, to your point, like if you met him out,
yeah,
Yeah.
You want to get dinner next weekend? You don't know who that man
You don't-
is.
Well, yeah,
Wait a minute,
You know his number and his phone. I mean,
used to be like
Wait.
dancing behind.
Hold on, I'm
somebody.
sorry. Now I'm curious.
Come on with it.
I
Come
know.
on
I'm
with
curious.
it.
What was your date like? I know it's been 10 years, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
what was your what steps did you
Did
take?
Greg date is the question.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. She wild. She wild. Anyway, me and my wife
boy.
met at IUPUI College. Shout out to them Jaguars.
Yes.
What's up?
Okay.
No, I met my wife or reached out to my wife via Twitter.
Oh, you slid them DMs.
But I had seen my wife before.
But you didn't know her. You just seen her.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
You had some-
Right.
Okay.
But that was for me to see. I knew it was real. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw her.
Catfish.
I didn't know her, but I saw her. Oh man,
She
I didn't figure out who that is.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Bam,
Oh, okay, I
jumped
see
in
what
there
you're
like, yo,
saying.
what's good?
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
you
then-
guys conversed
But you
a
didn't
little
know,
bit
like-
before you went on
Right.
your first date.
Correct.
there's
So y'all had a
conversation.
conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't
All right.
always work that way.
It don't
though.
always work
Most
that
of the
way.
time, it does not work that way.
I think it's
I
good
missed
too.
out on
Yes.
that.
I think it
I
would be
missed
good
out.
too. But I mean, I think. But herein lies where again, I think you're absolutely right. And to
Yeah.
your point, I don't want to be cliche and say the old school way, but I mean,
Nah,
I think
oh, dang.
It, yeah.
what used to be a custom was
old.
men would
Yeah.
pay for the date. They'll ask.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, again, here's where society's saying you really should be independent and doing all this other
That's
stuff.
exactly
and we want you to
right.
be independent, and then we're going two independent people to figure
Yep.
out something. And if you want it, don't wait for him, right? And
That's
then
right.
you want So then there's women just as aggressive as men at reaching out,
Yeah.
and trying to have a conversation, or at least say, hey, let's go meet up.
Is that a bad thing? Like,
No, well, I don't know if it's a good. I won't say bad thing. I won't say bad because my wife's like that, right? That's why
She's trying to set you up. She's trying to set you up. She's trying to set you up.
Amazing.
Is that a
I'm like,
bad
hold on, I'm
thing?
independent.
It
Like, I
depends
will
on
do
who
that.
you are. It depends on who you are.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, but at the end of the day, there has to be mutual respect. And I
Yeah.
think if you have the intent
Yes.
is to get to know somebody because
Yes.
I want to date.
Yep.
And maybe spend the rest of my life with somebody, then that's good. But if your intent is, I'm only in town for the night type thing, then
There
that's
we
cool
go.
too.
We here to have fun.
But let's be
But make
honest with
sure that
expectations.
the other
Yes,
person knows
yes.
that.
Yes.
Set the
Because
expectations right.
sometimes they don't.
No,
And you like,
no,
well, I ain't
and
heard from
that's
him in
where it's
2
not.
weeks.
Right.
That's
Like,
what's unfortunate is that people don't have those expectations.
Yeah.
Because I think while it may seem it was kind of not looked upon as a good light back in the day, people are open. It's 2023. People
Right.
don't give two fucks about what
Right.
your
No.
intentions are. If
Yes.
you want to fuck, it's cool.
That's
Let's
true.
do that. And
That's
th-
very
That's
true.
true.
You can find somebody on the same page.
100%.
That's
But
true.
for whatever reason, people have this misnomer as if I lead with that, then they're going to think certain type of things. So let me
Try to
misconstrue the
restrict-
situation.
Like,
Or
stretch
it's
it
just-
out to where I
and
get
it's
to
just
that.
Like, why? Don't. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
See,
Yeah.
I've never.
it's a hard.
It is.
I don't know because
I don't know either.
But I have friends again. That's kind of what I started this conversation with. Is that I have friends who are trying to navigate
Being
they're
single.
being single, and trying to figure out how to.
So what are they
Get to that
saying,
point.
CJ?
yeah,
Like,
what's their what's their issue?
No, like they're being ghosted. They're
Dang.
literally finding people and then they're having conversation. Now, and I told her, she's like, I'm like, look, you have way too high of expectations. I'm not saying settle.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's again, it's 2023.
Yes, yes.
You can't expect a lot of things of what you used to want 20 years ago. Not 20 years, 10 years ago, right?
Right,
And she's our age, so it's just like I get that, and that used to be cool, you know, then. But now
Yeah.
you have to kind of change with the times.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that.
But do you really though? Like, if you, especially at our age, not Greg's, as he's made that very clear.
You the old heads.
With our age, I don't want to say we're set in our ways, but like,
No, you said
We-
it. You said it. You said it. And that's the maturity piece that you have to understand and self-reflect and understand. Like, you know what? I need
ain't
to
changing.
realize
Yeah.
that
Who I
if
am.
if I'm at,
but that's not a bad thing though. Okay,
it continues to limit you though.
It can't limit
It
you.
It can,
depends.
right? It just
depends.
it depends.
Yeah.
Right.
What I would not do, I'm not about to lower my standards for this 2023 type of standard. That's what I will not do.
Right. And
I think you just have to
are
be
the standards
willing.
the same?
What you mean?
And that's the reflection
What
of
you mean?
like, and
I think it
don't know your
depends.
friend, but I don't know your friend. But for like, my first thought, again, not knowing, is well, is her standards 4 levels above what she should be looking for because of where she currently sits? You know, so like now, are you basically placing yourself out of a position to where you shouldn't? Like you were never fit to be there in the first place,
Yeah.
and so now you're struggling. And it's like, well, were you real with yourself first? And again, it's hard for some people to face their own truth.
That's
Again.
true. That's
And
true.
So,
So
it's
what
like,
kind of standards, CJ, would you say?
You know, let me preface. So she used to be married, right? So
Okay.
there's that, and she has 2 children. So she's used to a certain type of lifestyle where
Okay.
she has someone
Okay.
there,
Okay.
and they met, I think, at work, and so it wasn't
Yeah.
like a whole.
So
thing. now
the
she's-
value and caliber.
it's a little different,
Right,
now.
because she's used to a
She's
certain for
used
so
to-
long.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, so she's been doing this for a couple of years now,
Right.
but she's online, right? So she's got the
That is-
the
oh.
hinge. So to your point,
That's a hard
it's different
transition.
dynamic.
That is, very
but
much.
this is what she's found
Yeah.
herself kind of limited to, right? Because
Yeah.
she works, she has kids, so she doesn't really get to go out like that. So she's
Yep.
kind of using what's at her disposal. So because
Yeah.
of that,
I get what you're
You
saying.
have
You
to
have to
kinda-
lower. Yeah.
Yes.
it's not going to be the same. So now you have to
Yes.
play within the rules of compound
Yeah.
that you're
Yeah.
working with.
and that's not to say
That's
to
a good
lower your
point.
standards, but you just
Yeah,
have to be
right.
realistic and knowing like now my pool size has dropped here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's so much harder to find
That's true.
versus
That is
so
true.
it's-
And what I try to
It's
tell
tough.
her is that like you just need kind of at bats, right? Like she gets ghosted so many times for what she's saying. I'm like, so why don't you just be general, allow yourself to not just completely stop with someone, get to know them, or at least give them a chance. Where before you make up this a red flag, man, maybe not so much. Just give them a chance, an opportunity,
Red flag.
Yeah.
and then say, hey, you know what? Let's agree to go for coffee or whatever the case may be, and then let them show you the red flags.
Yeah.
Well, and also, if it's a red flag, don't cut them off. Explain like, yo,
And
this is
that's
something
the
that
other
is,
thing, yes.
I don't
She's
really
so
work
quick
well
to
with
know
this.
that, yeah.
So
Yeah.
please don't do this, because when you do it makes me feel like this.
Right.
I don't like to feel that way. So if you can give somebody, because I don't know that that's a red flag for you because
how
of a
can I
different
change?
trauma.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
like,
right.
I need to know.
It's not a
Yeah.
red flag.
Yeah,
when
No,
you
that's
because
true.
if I'm just trying to tell a joke and that cut deep and I didn't know, it's like, oh, hey, like, I didn't know that happened.
Exactly.
But that's
I apologize. That won't happen again.
Exactly.
But you cut me
Yeah.
off, and now I'm being ghosted. Like, yo, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like, so
you're right.
Well, and
she's
it
gotten
may-
herself into that situation a couple times.
People
Yeah.
do change too, because your you don't know this person and they don't know you. So, and that's with the relationship. Alfred may have had some things that I was like, girl. And then 10 years later, now, it's not so much a red flag or something that I was so heightened about, because I gave that person, to Greg's point, a chance, and we had a conversation, because that person been that person for 20 years and nobody has checked them about
And yes.
that behavior ain't all the way right. What I'm looking for, and they may be willing to be like, you know what? Okay,
And
I'll
if not,
adjust
that's
it.
right
or,
there. That tells you right
or
there.
not.
Gotten
Right.
to the point and you had
Right.
that interaction to do
Yeah.
that. Right?
Yeah.
And then like she's not even getting to that point. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, allow yourself the means to say, you know what, okay, I'll keep it in the back of my mind, but I'm not going to completely just, outside of some
serious things. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But like, if it's a joke that you kind of take funny or certain things, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Quick to cut them down.
Let
Yeah.
me get to know this
Yeah.
person a little bit
Yep.
more, because again, to her, she's not seeing the benefits. I'm just like,
Yeah.
just allow yourself some time. Like, okay, go on a date with him and go on a date
Yeah.
with him and go on
Yeah.
a date, like
Right.
get at bat so then
Yes.
you get comfortable with how to
This,
navigate this,
yeah.
because I don't know.
It's a whole new thing.
what
It's a whole
you
new
don't know.
world.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, like let's just say unfortunately, that guy is on here because
On
of that
his
same too.
journey
Like,
too.
Yeah.
He's on his journey too.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think sorry, Greg, I'm gonna cut you off. But
No.
what I was gonna say is, I think because she is a mother and used to be a wife, that's a weight or you're not a weight, but that's a lifestyle, not just in a mindset
Right,
that
yeah.
she's had.
No, yeah.
Probably for how many ever
That's a hat
years.
she's wearing. Yes.
Yeah.
So and I'm not saying don't date, but sometimes you kind of have to cycle out some of that stuff that you're used to until you get out here in the world and start dating, because you're looking for something that may not even exist anymore.
Right.
And that's only because you've been used to something that,
That you
has
once
since
had.
gone on.
Yeah.
And to that point,
Yeah.
and to both of your guys' point, one of the things about a marriage, and again, Tam basically married
out.
too.
She's common law.
Like you and Alfred have been together for so long, and there were things that Alfred, when y'all first got together, he did that you didn't like,
Oh,
and there's still
Definitely.
the same things that he do that you don't like, that you.
Yeah.
Eventually, the mutual respect is you learn to love the things
yes.
that they
Yeah, that's
still
true.
do that bother you.
Yeah.
But
True.
Don't even
somebody.
bother me as much, huh?
It ain't
The
even
thing
all
is,
that
no,
deep.
but
Yeah.
the misconception
That's
is that you're gonna find somebody that does everything that you like,
That's right.
and that's
Yes.
not the case. And
That's
it's
it.
important
Yeah.
to understand that you're not going to do everything that your partner likes either.
Yeah.
And most of the time, oftentimes, your partner doesn't even communicate that to you.
Yeah.
It's just a little knack that they've learned to
Yes.
love
To
about
learn-
you, but
And
it
just
still
move
gets
on.
on their nerves.
Yeah.
So again, it's more of the standards and being able to self-reflecting like,
That's right.
well, you know what? I do some little quirky stuff too that I never thought about. You know what?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I am a little weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You been pointing the finger the whole time. Now they done went off on you like, damn, like, oh,
self-reflection on
I be
it.
doing that. You know what I'm saying? So just
That's
keep
so
in mind
true.
that,
Got you on the
you know,
record. Catch you on the record doing
you know
that.
what I'm saying? So,
On the record.
Sometimes the standards are off, all because you can't
Absolutely.
self-reflect and hold yourself
Self-reflect.
There we
accountable
go.
for what needs to happen. So
Yeah. And because we are in different times,
true.
we are social in person.
Right.
And now nobody's being social in person. So even the communication style or things may be off because nobody knows how to talk to each other. The social skills is off. They may be working from home for the past 7 years.
Yeah.
They ain't
Yep.
been in, you don't know what they done went through. Right. So I think, you know, what everybody else is saying is like, just give a little grace and understanding when you go out there. Don't settle, but just know like it's just different territory.
Right, know exactly what you're going to accept and
just
not accept.
Just be open. I think just be open.
Yeah.
To some stuff that you probably are either not used to or accustomed to. Or to Greg's point is that it may come off initially as a pet peeve.
Yep.
But if
it a deal breaker?
There we go. That's a good point.
Deal breaker.
Yeah, deal breaker.
You know, you could come to understand and respect it at least,
because you're not gonna find the perfect person.
Never.
In anybody.
That's what I think he was saying. Is like, first and foremost, you're not. You're not perfect.
Because you yourself aren't perfect.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we all are. That's why we're married. So.
Tam too. Hey, bro, I hope you watching. You got a surprise waiting on you, bro. Yeah.
Got to be real perfect.
Thank you, guys. Oh man.
Yeah, I think we probably need to title this episode "Intimacy / Dating in 2023"
in the new world.
But that's a good. This was good.
That was a good question.
The second half was good. So
we appreciate the question.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
oh gosh.
How
you gonna say? Do either of us like have any like last minute words?
This was fun, y'all. Yeah, I'm normally on the back end, background, hearing everything, hearing them dogging us out. Hey, me and CJ held it down for the fellas today. So. Y'all hear me today? But it felt really good being on, just having a voice, being able to express my opinion. Yeah. Y'all are doing really good things. So again, just keep pushing it out there.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry, guys.
Well, I just want to say,
no, please.
Dang!
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say thank you. That's all. To CJ and Greg, but go ahead, CJ. I'm in the cut you off. Go.
Look, I was just saying I appreciate it. I think we did hold down, but I appreciate the invite. I've heard a couple of the episodes and had no idea what the expectation was. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm not sure what, but I had a good time, and obviously I think you guys are doing a good thing. Not just obviously self-fulfillment. But I mean, I think a lot of people are using this and some good eating, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate
it.
The good work and we'll continue to follow you.
Thanks, guys.
That is wonderful. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll have more panel discussions and me and my friend group. He's part of my friend, so I guess I should have said earlier.
Oh yeah,
this is
give a little backstory.
They were like,
she was trying to hit us with that heat, y'all. Yeah, they was ready to dump it on us.
Right.
I'm sorry. CJ is my best friend's husband, and so I've been around for a long time. So I know.
She was
from the beginning. Yeah, I've been there from the beginning. But in our friend group, like we have these discussions all the time anyway. So it is good to get perspective from male, female, and not just us.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've known Jordan a long time, like
yes,
a long time, like before
since the 1900s.
It was 1900s, yeah, early.
I cannot deal with CJ.
But what I'm saying, it's crazy. Like I walked in, I was like, okay, that's what's up. So
that was like, I don't even know what year that was.
Yeah,
I can't even tell you, but it was
55, 56, somewhere.
Okay,
it was
okay.
Don't do that.
We are not that old. We are 40s. Exactly. We are very seasoned.
But what they would tell you is like we was working hard.
Knowledgeable.
Then, so we were working hard then.
Period.
One more thing.
Oh, yep.
So our mic stand that Greg's using is from Sweetwater.
All of us are using
and it's just the mic stand that Greg has.
The stand.
Yes. It's from Sweetwater. They're based out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. So they are local. And I shout them out because after we got the mic stand, thank you. Oh, look at that. Okay. Yes, Tam. They called and wanted to know what our experience was. Did we get everything, okay? Was it shipped okay? So I just want to say thank you for the amazing customer service that does not exist here in this world today. So I appreciate that. And we will continue to buy from them. Check them out at Sweetwater. We will tag them in the YouTube video. So yeah, that's all.
All right, guys. Well, anything else?
It's a wrap. No.
All right. Well, you know how we always say, right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is holidays. Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays.
But like we always say, comment, subscribe,
like, share, comment,
and all that.
And all that.
They got it.
Hey,
Look, we're looking at Greg
Oh.
because he
No,
always the
And
one.
tell a friend to tell a friend. Okay,
Tell a friend
y'all
to tell
spread
a
the word.
friend.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, please remember, no tea.
Just coffee.
Bye.
Bye.